Hello, everyone. Welcome to this ADM Sevilla panel discussion moderated by Aviación Digital. I'm sorry for not being there. My name, as Marianne said, is Jorge Manchón, and we're here to talk about urban air mobility and UAS, shaping the future of aviation. Historically, new ways of transportation have meant huge progress for mankind, and we're about to witness one of these moments with urban air mobility, UAM. UAM means movement of people and cargo in urban areas. This is the stuff we all dreamed about when we were kids or watched science fiction movies. Flying cars, air taxis, highways on the air. It will be actually a reality in a few years from now. And our guests today work on this amazing field, so let me introduce them. Miguel Vilaplana is the head of UTM, Urban Transport Mobility at Airbus Commercial Engineering. Good morning, Miguel Ángel.
Good morning. Good morning.
José Ignacio Rodríguez is Sales Director at eHang Spain and Latin America. Good morning, José Ignacio.
Good morning.
Antidio Viguria is the Avionics and Systems Technical Director at FADA-CATEC. Good morning.
Good morning.
Antidio. And Juan José Calvente is head of the Aircraft Systems and RPS Department in Aertec. Am I right?
That's right. Good morning.
Okay, welcome to you all. Okay. Let me ask you some questions now. We're going to do a round of personalized questions for each one of you. So we will begin with Antidio, if you're okay. Antidio, EASA, the European regulator, has just published a study on the social acceptance of UAM operations, where the 83% of respondents felt very or fairly positive about urban air mobility in general, and only 3% had a very negative perception. Do you think that this society is mentally ready for a new transportation system that is supposedly going to be totally autonomous? Is the DeLorean project helping this perception?
Well, so definitely yes. As the results of the survey that you mentioned from EASA, it seems that in general the vast majority of the European population is looking forward to this new way of transportation of persons and goods. Also, as you can see, the result of the survey that is in the content is accessible on internet. You can also see that safety is also another main concern. So it's important to maintain the same safety standards as the traditional aeronautical sector. And at this point, we really think that autonomy functionalities can help to increase this level of safety in this new way of transportation and new way of vehicles. These new functionalities can increase the level of safety in case of failures or, for example, loss of communications. With respect to the DeLorean project, I think that the organization maybe can put a video while I'm speaking. This is a European project that also we are collaborating with Airbus, here with Miguel Ángel, that is one also of the partners. This is a European project that we are studying how the navigation system based of satellite navigation system, such as EGNOS and Galileo, can be used in help the navigation in urban environments. As you can see in the video, we are already doing some real tests in Benidorm, which its skyline can be very close to the ones of the big cities. And we really think that this project can help also, and this type of demonstration, to increase awareness of this new type of technology to the public and to the citizens. So we really think that this kind of prototypes and this kind of pilot programs can also help a lot so that people can start looking to the skyline of the cities and see the drones flying around. So yes, we really think that European population citizens are looking forward, and we really think that we need to increase the pilot tests that we do in this type of environments, also to gain experience how to operate this type of vehicles in real urban environments.
All right, thank you very much. It's very impressive. Okay, next question. That will be for José Ignacio Rodríguez. I believe you would like to show us a video before.
Yes, thank you, Jorge. First, I want to thank the organization for such an interesting forum. I'm really happy to be here with fellow colleagues from university, with colleagues from Amulet Project, both of them, UAM, and also with Aertec, with whom I collaborate also frequently. So please, as a background, I would like to please to show the video, if it's possible.
eHang is an autonomous aerial vehicle technology platform company. Inspired by dreams and driven by innovation, the world's first autonomous aerial vehicle was successfully created. eHang AAV, a globally recognized product, can be used in tourism, medical rescue, logistics, and air transportation. The new era of urban air mobility has started. Rain or wind, day or night, we've never halted our testing work. People-oriented and safety-first, we've created the world's first AAV command and control center to accurately monitor data from the eHang AAV and complete remote route control. We worked together with global partners in China, the UAS, Netherlands, Qatar, and Austria to pilot the 5G network-connected AAV flight demonstrations and explore the future world's digital sky. AAV's one success after another has convinced us that the air taxi is within our reach. The sky ceases to be unattainable. All of yesterday's visions will be our shared tomorrow. When intelligent AAV puts wings on logistics, technology brings infinite convenience to people's lives. eHang accumulates technologies to create intelligent AAV logistics solutions. eHang, hand in hand with DHL, launched the world's first fully automated air delivery service by integrating Smart Cabinet. eHang empowers the customers in the logistics, retail, and e-commerce fields to fly into a more open, intelligent, and efficient air logistics era. Every second counts in urban development. Our mission to guard this process shall suffer no delay. eHang's fully networked management of its Smart City Command and Control Center arms its intelligent AAVs with innovative distributed deployment to create a ground-sky linkage platform enabling convenience for traditional industries by providing firefighting, transportation, water conservancy, environmental protection, and news reporting with the innovative and intelligent aerial platform solutions. As AAV technology combines light artistry, eHang AAV light shows light up the sky. Thanks to the extraordinary capabilities of our autonomous flight control system and highly accurate in-flight positioning, one person can control thousands of intelligent AAVs simultaneously, which have broken the world records time and time again. With years of experience and innovation, eHang has solidified itself as a pioneer in the intelligent UAV industry. eHang has dedicated itself to establishing an intelligent and connected aerial system to make the world smarter. That's not only a possibility, that's our mission.
Thank you.
Well, that was really, really impressive.
Yeah,
Amazing stuff.
I know, because
Right.
it's already ready for some years ago. It's a revolution that we started 3 or 4 years. We are flying with passengers already for 2 years, and yeah, I'm really proud to work in eHang, that's right. So what's the question, Jorge, please?
Yes. Okay, it has been published that your company is conducting pilot demonstrations in Sevilla. Could you please tell us about it?
Yes, I think the video helps a lot for me to answer the question, because clearly the protagonist is always the eHang 216, okay? The air taxi. But eHang has all the portfolio, all the ecosystem for urban air mobility. So the brain is the command and control center. That's something we also want to bring to Seville to test that we can integrate not only eHang but also other brands. We sometimes also design vertiports in China, or we could design vertiports with Aertec, for example, here in Spain. We also are doing the drone shows this is something that we also want to bring to Sevilla. We are working already in several shows that will be probably flown before the end of the year over the Guadalquivir River, okay? And finally, we are working in Amulet together with CATEC, with Airbus. And for Amulet, we need to fly, for example, in Cranfield Aerodrome. So flying before in the Atlas Center in Villacarrillo is going to help a lot to prepare for the Amulet flights, to do the risking, for example. And if we need to fly in Port of Rotterdam in August 2022, it's going to be a very nice and awesome preparation to fly over the Guadalquivir River with the help of our colleagues, CATEC, Airbus, and so on, to do some de-risking also in Guadalquivir, to fly over a river already before going to Rotterdam. So, yes, we have an ambitious plan to do some demos already this year with AESA permits that we are already requesting to fly in controlled airspace, segregated airspace with controlled ground, risk, very controlled, sail 2, let's say so. But also we want to move forward to sail 3 and fly maybe in Sevilla with a low risk or medium risk if allowed by EASA, okay? And also, I want to work in Sevilla in logistics, okay? We want to do automated logistics. All our drones are electric, so zero emissions, totally sustainable. Autonomous, this makes them very efficient. But most important, our highest priority is safety. Everything is redundant. Every arm has double propellers, motors, two of everything. So it's really redundant and safe. And for me, it's a pleasure, and I will put very high priority to work in Sevilla. Why? Because I'm from Sevilla. I was born here. I lived 30 years in a military aerodrome. My father is a pilot from the Spanish Air Force, so I live in Tablada Aerodrome all my life. I studied in the University of Sevilla in the School of Engineering, which is 500 meters from here, with Antidio, with professors like Aníbal Ollero, very known people in the sector. So for me, Sevilla is great. And the most important thing for you to know, last year in March, we already signed with the City Hall, with Juan Espadas, with the mayor, a UAM agreement, cooperation agreement, to try to make it possible that Sevilla citizens benefit and already see the future here in their own city. So we are going to be proud not only to bring the air taxi, but to bring drone shows already this year and to do other kind of logistical projects with very expert technological centers in Andalusia like CATEC, for example. So for me, really Sevilla is a place to come and enjoy and work, of course, very hard. Yeah, thank you.
That sounds great. Involving people in this technology is one very important step that we all should do. We all should take. Juan José, you will be. I will have my next question for you, Juan José. Every time we speak about UAM, we think of air taxis, but the UAM industry opens up a lot of possibilities. Is Aertec working on other fields?
Yes. Typically, when we hear about UAM, we associate the concept to flying cars, air taxis, etc. But the truth is that the UAM concept itself is much wider. In fact, by urban, we can include not only intra-city operations, but peri-city operations, intercity operations, and urban-rural transportation of both cargo or passengers. So, in fact, there are studies, tendencies, and trends about the demand of urban-rural CONOPS and operations. In my opinion, basically driven by a clear demand of certain countries, for example, in Europe, in Central Europe, where there are very remote areas that need to be interconnected in a better way, but also because this type of operations would be an opportunity for both manufacturers and operators to work in the specific category to get some business. And coming back to your question, Jorge, in Aertec, we have been working lately on basically three scenarios. We're urban-rural transportation to remote areas using fixed wings. I mean, fixed wing is our core. and obviously they have advantages in terms of endurance, etc. The second would be initiatives relating concept for UTM hub operations in port areas, providing support for coastal areas, surveillance, etc. We have been working, in fact, with Airbus in some initiatives we presented to the European Commission. And finally, we would like to extend these two previous concepts to and go a bit further and provide, for example, services for specific needs to vessels in open sea. So obviously, some of these operations would require short takeoff landing or vertical takeoff landing, and we are aware of that. And we are working now on an enhanced and advanced US design to add new capabilities to our current systems.
Okay, thank you very much. That was really interesting. Now, Miguel Ángel, I think you might want to show us a video before your question.
Yes, good morning and thank you. And first I want also to thank the organizers and actually the pleasure being here with friends and colleagues. This is an example of what this industry that we are creating needs right now, which is collaboration. Collaboration among industrial players, with research centers, with regulators. No? So yeah, if you can please show the video, that I would like to show a little bit of an overview of how Airbus is approaching this dream of urban air mobility. Yeah.
We were born to travel and explore, and today our need to move is unparalleled. Yet congestion in cities is already a global problem. As the world's population grows and transport needs of developing and established economies change, there is an acute need for sustainable mobility solutions that work efficiently together. Expanding the ground transport network into the sky in a way that is accessible and affordable will offer a step change in network capacity and functionality. Novel air vehicles offer the potential to move people and cargo with increased versatility and speed and minimal environmental impact. Today's world demands practical on-demand mobility solutions, both on the ground and in the air. With rapid advances in electrification, autonomy and connectivity, large-scale urban mobility through a new class of vehicles is becoming a real option. In a near future, electric takeoff and landing vehicles, or air taxis, will slash hour-long ground journeys to just tens of minutes by air. At Airbus, we are exploring several vehicle demonstrators and concepts to be able to deliver on the best possible urban air mobility experience that is equally affordable, eco-efficient and safe. We are working collaboratively with cities and regulators to integrate air taxis into existing environments and airspace rules with minimal impact, while at the same time developing more intelligent, autonomous and decentralized air traffic management solutions that can safely and efficiently accommodate all types of vehicles in the same airspace. We were born to move, travel and explore. Urban air mobility is all about giving ourselves the freedom to move for decades to come.
That was just amazing.
And there is another video that to show one of our demonstrators. Maybe you can play it just shortly. That's is a video of the final test flight of the Vahana, one of these demonstrators that you saw in the video.
Everybody, that's Vahana Alpha. Hub's complete.
Congrats.
Good job, everybody.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. See, so just a couple of things, Jorge, on the videos, and also picking up some of the comments from my colleagues. You can see there, so for urban air mobility, Juan José said it, no? And it's much more than air taxis, right? It's really this idea of bringing autonomous flight, electric, zero emissions, in and out the cities to bring new services, passenger transport, logistics, and some of the missions with a lot of social benefit, no, in terms of safety and security, medical delivery, etc. So it's really a revolution. Not only that, but the technology that you need to make this a reality is expected to revolutionize air transport and aviation in general for years to come. So as you saw in the videos, for Airbus, urban air mobility, there is two key elements I'd like to mention. One is Airbus is leading manufacturer of aircraft, so there is the part of the vehicle, the we make it fly idea. So as you see, the vehicle is important, but we have deliberately focused on the whole ecosystem. So it's not just the vehicle, which is key, of course, but it's not about flying one vehicle, it's about integrate that into the ecosystem, into the city infrastructure, and very importantly, into the airspace. So therefore, the unmanned traffic management problem we need to solve is also very important, no? So that's a critical thing. And you see that the focus for us has been very incremental, right? So we are building demonstrators where we are testing core technological steps that we need to achieve this dream, no, in the future. And so you saw the Bahana there, where we tested electric, autonomous flight. City Airbus is another demonstrator we're working on, and in each one of them, we're taking all the learnings towards having this certified, safe vehicle that can be integrated into this urban air mobility, no, and at all levels. Yeah.
Well, my next question was actually about this. I understand from what you said that you're already working with the European regulators in Airbus?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, so you already answered my question. Yeah. Thank you very much. We will now proceed to a round of general debate questions, if you don't mind. And I would like you all to participate in a debate where I will pose the questions and you can go and tackle them. So first one, can we say that Andalusia is among Europe's leading regions in urban air mobility?
Yes, of course. I think you can. Antidio knows more.
I think that Andalusia has a very good position in UAS in general. From the technological point of view, we are at ADM, a recognized international research center, and also José I Sevilla has also a lot of very good results in aerial robotics. And I think this is, I hope this will be the starting point of a good ecosystem. Then we have big companies like Aertec also as well from Andalusia that is working in developing very nice product on UAS. So I think that Andalusia right now has a very good potential. It has an important aeronautical industry, but I will not say it has right now established position. Maybe it's a very good starting point, but we need to also the support to make this a reality.
I do agree with you, Antidio. I wouldn't dare to say that right now Andalusia is a key region in UAM, but it is a fact that Andalusia is one of the regions with more cities listed in the UAM, European Commission list of UAM cities regarding all these new initiatives that are going to be undertaken. And it's also proven along all these years that Andalusia has the capability and the strength to generate aeronautic ecosystems in terms of institutional capabilities, industry, technological centers, and also foster the possibilities to get some fundings and promote these activities. So I think it is still an opportunity for Andalusia to become a key region in UAM.
Yeah, no, just wanted to re-emphasize. I think what you said. I think Andalusia is in a privileged position to actually lead this emerging new industry. As you said, you have the aerospace heritage, all the fabric, the ecosystem, universities. You've got locations already ready for experimental flying. Even the weather helps to flying throughout the year. So you already have pioneering UAS work in the unmanned aircraft. So we definitely are betting that Andalusia should become a key player in this. And you mentioned the cities are already keen and interested. One of the things that Jorge was asking about the regulator, one of the things urban air mobility is going to require is beyond the traditional work between industry, the regulators, safety, etc. Because of the integration with the city infrastructure, with the airspace over cities, near cities, you're going to need this working together between the different stakeholders, city governments, regional governments, with industry, universities. So that's already starting. And as I said, some cities in Andalusia are very active. So I think we need to build on that to make it a reality. And Antidio said before, we need more testing. As the social acceptance survey said, people say, the environmental concern is key. Safety, of course, is the main requirement. And also, there is a request that the use cases are of societal benefit. Right? So this, I think, is one of the things we need to try. So try use cases that, yes, the air taxi is there. It's, the industry could be, a really big one. But to start building step by step, we should focus on use cases that people perceive that they bring in benefit to society at the same time to make it happen.
Actually, in the EASA survey that they have published, you see the use cases that people valorate most. They are related to social benefits, emergency transportation, transportation of equipment between hospitals or of samples. So I think this could be a very interesting kind of pilot that maybe we can try to promote within Andalusia. As you said, we have a very good starting point, a privileged position that we should take advantage of and promote with the support also of the local authorities a kind of pilot so that all the citizens can see the benefits of this new technology and paradigm in transportation.
Yes, I also want to add that in Andalusia we have everything. We have brilliant engineers, we have production centers that are known in all Europe and worldwide, in Sevilla, Aeropolis, Málaga, Cádiz, Puerto Real, everywhere. We have the weather. It's only raining maybe 20, 30 days per year, so it's very easy to fly. We have the experimental flight centers like Atlas or CEDEA, INTA. This is also important to do complex trials. And of course, the society is very welcoming and open. And besides that, we have a lot of corridors that can be built in the coast. We have a lot of kilometers of coast, and we can test also outside of experimental centers in front of Málaga, Benalmádena, Huelva, and many other places. So we have the right conditions to really excel in this business. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. I think you all participated. Okay, I would like to ask you, how does the introduction of 5G technology affect unmanned aircraft systems, UAS, in terms of communications and surveillance, for example?
Well, 5G is going to be paramount for your UAM, specifically for very low-level flights beyond line of sight. Right now, in Aertec, we have participated this year in a project integrating 5G solutions in our system, both in ground and air segment. And as a conclusion, we have experimented with the technology, and the technology itself is ready. You can operate a system, you can get accurate, no latency in command and control, different payloads on board. We performed several surveillance missions, and it was everything great. You can also add the capability of having distributed monitoring centers connected to the network. So as a technology itself, I think it will be a part of this ecosystem, both in urban operations, and of course, it will really foster the urban-rural operations. But on the other hand, I do believe that there is still a margin of development and improvement. For example, in the development of specific hardware and equipment to be embedded in aircrafts. And also, there is an opportunity to investigate and develop solutions that gather multi-SIM, multi-operators, and some kind of intelligent management of the network itself, so that there are no losses of connections, etc. And it's more secure.
So just to complement Juan José, so fully agree. And so we are actually at Airbus, we are actually pioneering some of the applications of 5G in command and control of UAS, and also integration with UTM, actually conducting that, working very closely with mobile network operators, right? That they are very keen on showing that this technology could really revolutionize drones. Actually, we are going to present some of that work in the upcoming Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. So, and the results are very encouraging, right? So, and you see that 5G opens a world of possibilities. First, of course, on the application, no? You have this connectivity, so you can get payload, communications, high bandwidth, low latency, etc. We are focusing more on the safety aspects, command and control for beyond visual line of sight, and integration with unmanned traffic management. No? And that also shows promise, but again, there are challenges still to take this to scale, no? In terms of safety, etc. Because right now, in general, we are working with mobile network operators to leverage the existing network, and that's important, right? One of the things we need to do, I think, to deploy this urban air mobility ecosystem is let's use what we can, and see how far you can take it, and see if it can be made safe. And of course, there are challenges. No? There are challenges, like you said, on board the aircraft, on the ground stations, and the networks themselves will have issues because, as you can imagine, 5G at the moment is being deployed for cell phone users, or in cities, for example. When you take it, there are industrial applications, but when you go out in the field, generally that. So, and the networks are designed to optimize that use. So, if you want not to look upwards and get vehicles flying at different altitudes, switching between cells, there are challenges there as well that should be managed both with the onboard hardware and software, but maybe also with collaboration from the network operators. And that's something I think a very interesting field to. So we do need to take into consideration the infrastructure to make this autonomy happen, right? So it will be a combination between onboard technology and also infrastructure, I think.
And I think complementing what Miguel Angel has said, also Juanjo, apart from the bandwidth and the much smaller delay that perfectly fits the type of application that we can think of the needs of the urban air mobility vehicles, of the UAS in general, I think that another key characteristic of 5G is the capability of performing high computational computing on the edge, close to the infrastructure, as Miguel has said. So this is called edge computing, and we think that this has a lot of potential in safety-critical applications, when you need to have a very concrete delay and control delay in critical functionalities. So I can think of tactical deconfliction or detect and avoid. So this can help a lot in order to increase the computational capability of the vehicles, but without having to put too much weight on that. So we think that also this capability of 5G, of edge computing, can also have a lot of potential. It requires still a lot of testing and experimentation. Actually, we are also involved with Vodafone in a 5G demonstrator that we are starting to work with this kind of capabilities and see the limitations that they currently have with this edge computing. But we think that it has a lot of potential. It's worth experimenting and trying.
Yes, I want to add, for us, eHang, 5G is key, is crucial. We are flying for several years in China because the deployment of Huawei there in China is covering the cities and the suburban areas. So for us, we are having 4G LTE and 5G modules. In China, we usually use the 5G, and here in Europe, it's not totally deployed, only in very big cities. But we are happy that, for example, the Spanish government is very oriented to empowering the deployment of 5G. For example, even Atlas Center has a 5G node, which will help us to test the air taxi with 5G in Atlas. But 5G, yes, the high bandwidth allows you to transmit real-time video, so you can do more complex operations. The latency is very, very low, which helps to have the command and control center connected in a matter of milliseconds. And you can connect with 4G, 5G to a command and control center that is located anywhere in the world. So sometimes from a command and control center in China, we can control a drone even in Europe. But we are thinking maybe of regional and even national command and control centers, all connected with 4G, 5G. You don't need radio frequency anymore. If you are connected well, you have a good coverage of the 5G network. And also, finally, it's a good redundancy to positioning, triangulation. 5G can give you a positioning of meters of precision with the antennas triangulation. This is also very important because we aim to use EGNOS augmentation systems, Galileo constellation, which gives you good precision, but also 5G can give you this redundancy. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I think this was very, very important introduction of 5G and this technology. And now I have a question that's more personal, maybe. Being a pilot, I consider that safety is paramount in any activity related to aviation. One of the main premises here is the critical systems redundancy. Are these same principles applied in UAS design?
Yes. Yes, I don't know if you can show some slide where you can see the full redundancy of the air taxi. I think it's slide number 6, or, okay, this is the signature with Zaragoza, Sevilla, Lleida Airport, and so on. This is where we say that safety is the most important thing. So we need to enable safety, efficiency with autonomous drones, and also sustainable electrical batteries. Can you please go to the next slide? Okay, here it is. So here you see our eHang 216. And why is it called 216? Because it has capacity for 2 passengers, and it has 16 of everything. So you can see 8 arms, and every arm has 2 subsystems of everything. It has 2 rotors, propellers, a battery, electrical motor. So even if one subsystem of every arm fails, still that arm will sustain the vehicle with this, with the power. And also, we have even provoked failures of several arms, and still we can fly with 2 arms failing. So you can see that it's like a helicopter with 16 rotors. It's 8 times 2. So you have a high level of redundancy, at least double in every arm. But not only that, in the flight control unit, we even triple it because it's the most critical system, the autopilot, the flight control unit, FCU. So even that is triple, and every flight control unit is linked to an independent pair of antennas of GPS and 4G, 5G. So it's everything very well isolated and secure and redundant. Yeah, thank you.
And this is really reassuring.
Yeah, so I wanted to say that, Jorge, absolutely. I think all the industry is focused on safety to bring UAM to life. This is very clear. The public are even telling that to us. In fact, with José Ignacio's presentation, you see that particularly for the bigger vehicles, passenger carrying, safety is key, and everyone is focusing on certification, right? And actually, and eHang is not a traditional aerospace company, and all the new companies in this space that you see, there are, I think last time I read, more than 300 air taxi projects running today in the world, right? So they're projects, they're demonstrators, they're working towards certification, right? So they're working with regulators, and clearly safety is critical. You cannot get anywhere without that. But that, I mean, I want to highlight the challenges, and José Ignacio is very well aware of that, right? First of all, now with all this, the demand and the fact that we all believe that this industry could revolutionize aviation, you have all these projects. That means that all this industry is working with regulators, the FAA in the US, EASA in China, to certify vehicles that they are non-traditional, right? So you have a lot of new technology coming into a vehicle at once. Battery technology, power distribution, even autonomy, right? Or at least very advanced automation for the pilot first, then fully autonomous. So that costs a lot of money, right? So it's a big investment and it's a lot of effort, and there is new things coming that needs to be assured that they are safe, right? So this is an important thing, and we need to be mindful of that, right? And there are different approaches, but I think all of us are working with the regulator to help. So I think this collaboration is going to be critical, right? And you see most of the manufacturers going for a stepped approach. So first with the pilot, then we go to more autonomy, and in the end, it is autonomy what will bring the business case, in terms of the scale. And that's really difficult because today we cannot certify autonomy, right, today. So we need to really work on that. But I wanted to take Jorge's question broader because he said about safety in UAS in general. And that's a really interesting question because if we go to the high-end passenger carrying air taxi, it is clear. So we are going to certify them and it's going to be a challenge, but they will be flying safely. We know that. It's a matter of time and money. But then what happened with the whole drone ecosystem from toys almost to air taxis? And you see, and this is another big challenge because you have all these heterogeneous vehicles, some of them closer to toys, some of them really heavy duty, very important missions. They all access the airspace, and this is the challenge. So in Europe in particular, EASA is taking an approach which is new. So to take this risk, proportionate to the risk, less prescriptive and gradual. We are all working through this, right? So we believe that it's almost revolutionary compared to the traditional system, but we do believe it's the way forward. But a lot of work remains to be done to see how we ensure safety in a proportionate way, because it's not the same a vehicle of 2 kilos that an air taxi, and they all access the airspace safely. So I think this is work in progress, and so we'll see what the time entails.
I do agree with you, Miguel. Safety is a must in aviation, but in UAS, and not only UAM, safety requirements must be proportional to the risk in the operations. And that is exactly the new EASA approach. Having said that, and coming back to your question, Jorge, in terms of redundancy, etc., in Aertec, maybe due to the nature of our segment, and both military and civilian, and with a class 1 type UAS, etc., we have only considered and taken into consideration that sometimes when we started, we had no regulation on the table. We have only considered safety requirement and in our design, from the very design of the aircraft, the air platform, and typical safety factors for structural loads, to the design of the equipment on board, etc. So safety is a must, but it has to be, and it's being like this, proportional to the risks of the operation. There are toys, like Miguel said, and there are aircrafts like eHang. So the variety, again, of UAS and UAS in UAM, where it's likely that there will appear new non-conventional typologies or approaches or configurations, it's something to take into account.
Just to complement, because I think that I totally agree with what my colleagues have said here, is that it's true that with this risk-based approach, the risk should be proportional, the risk on the system, but also to clarify to the audience that the overall risk, taking into account the system, the vehicle, the operation, the area, at the end, even for the toys or for the medium UAS or for the high-end taxis, the overall safety is the same as for the traditional aviation. That's the objective. The objective to have the same level of safety. It's true that if you're going to fly in the middle of a rural area, maybe the safety requirements on the platform, maybe they're not to be so restrictive for aerial taxi. But at the end, it's important to tell the community that the overall safety objective is the same as the traditional aviation, because without safety, we're not going to have industry. It's true that without having a pilot on board, gives us the flexibility to balance the safety aspect between the operation and also the aerial vehicle. And this gives us the flexibility, and it's totally agree that the new European regulation takes advantage of that, and it's very good for the industry, that allows maybe that for areas that you can compensate the risk because there are no people around and things like that, maybe you can decrease the safety requirement on the system, but the overall safety level is going to be the same.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know if anyone else wants to add anything here. Okay, we will move on with a new question that maybe includes some slides from José Ignacio. Okay, I will pose a question. Does UAM include services such as sea or mountain rescue or medical transportation that are so important to our society?
Yes. You can maybe show the slide, I don't know, number 7 or 8, the next one. But yes, we are very focused into the most generous and noble purpose of economy, which is to save lives, because sometimes 3 minutes matter to save a life, or even to improve the life quality of the people, of the citizenship. So in eHang, we don't only focus in the air taxi for doing a city sightseeing tour or whatever, to do an aerial shuttle to the airport. In my opinion, it is more important first to help the population with firefighting solutions, like we have this eHang 216F that can go to the Penley Tower, to the skyscraper, to the story number 50, and put down a fire in a matter of minutes, while the truck of the firemen cannot reach there maybe in 1 hour or 2. Or you can save the Giralda Tower from burning, like it happened in Notre Dame in Paris, if you go fast with a drone and you put 200 liters of foam or water and some smoke bombs to put down the fire. So in eHang, we believe in that. So we are participating in an ICAO Ambular project to do a design that where the injured person can lay down a bit and be more comfortable. For example, this is ICAO Ambular project. And also in the pandemic in China, we have been transporting people, the doctor with the kit, medical kit, or even the doctor and the injured person from one place to the hospital in a matter of minutes. So also the logistical drones is loading 200 kilos of medical material to a place where you need it right away, okay? I don't know if you remember Filomena in Madrid, but Filomena, with the Falcon solution of 5 kilos, you can take a defibrillator to a person that is having a heart attack, but there, the SAMUR or the Red Cross, they couldn't help because everything was full of snow. That day for me, I had to do a PCR test, and it took me half an hour to walk what usually I walk in 2 minutes. It was 1 meter of snow. So everything was stopped in Madrid for 2 days. No ambulance could move, nobody. Maybe in 5 years, with drones that can be deployed in several strategical vertiports in the hospitals, you can help in an emergency situation like Filomena and save hundreds of lives in a matter of days. Just take some medicine, some antibiotics, some defibrillator. And for me, I was suffering from this day because I saw that many people couldn't be attended from the medical services. So yes, drones should be having high priority to be used at the beginning for emergency services, for the most important purpose of the humanity, to save people's lives. Later also, okay, you can do some enjoying with air taxi, sightseeing, but I think emergency services, avoiding disasters is very important for everybody. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I don't know if...
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And actually, that's, again, one of the outcomes even of this broad survey in Europe, right? People want to see drones there first and build the confidence and so on. So I also think that this is true, and at the same time, and this is happening as well, because you want to do this at a scale, no? Enable the ecosystem, right? And create, it is important also to explore for example, industrial applications, right? And it's already happening, no? But, inspections, etc., right? So I think a combination of missions that bring this societal benefit and impact, and perception as well. We need to also work on other ones that also bring economic value and also other societal benefits as well. And it's interesting to see, I always amazed that, and you guys probably know, I mean, some of the most pioneering work on UAVs globally from many years ago has started in Africa, right? So you have actually today very extensive logistic networks based on drones in Rwanda, Ghana, etc., which have real scaled operations, fly in, fly out, delivering medical supplies, COVID vaccines, by several companies, right? So it's interesting that in these places where you have less infrastructure on the ground, you are seeing some of the pioneers getting the experience to that, and people love it, right? Because, like you said, you're bringing what people need on time, right? So I think absolutely this is the way to go. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Jorge, please, I forgot one slide because he has some surprises. You can put my final slide. It's related to emergency services. Okay. So we are participating in eHang in several projects. It's Amulet, we're flying in Santiago de Compostela in September. We are flying in Spain with an air taxi with our colleagues. We are also in Gulf of Finland, but especially for medical applications. We're in SaphirMed project, also a demonstrator of CESAR. And there we act as an air ambulance, okay? Directly air taxi used as an ambulance to prevent and assist in emergencies. Also in Airmore project in Norway, we are going to fly with the Falcon, taking medical samples and so on. The SaphirMed will fly, I think, in Antwerpen, in Belgium, and in Hessen, in Germany. Also, we will fly in Coruscant in Paris Pontoise Airport, okay? But you can see the list of flights. We are already flying in the next 18 months in 12 cities in Europe, in the overall 4 projects of the air taxi. But I'm very happy to fly, especially in Santiago de Compostela, and to do some trials before in Spain, in Atlas and in other places. So we are very focused not only in tourism taxis, but also in medical projects like SaphirMed, and also in Amulet, we're going to try the combination of emergency helicopters with air taxis with autonomous drones. So this is going to be also a nice showcase. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, now, what technological advances could be game changers in this industry? I'm speaking of, for example, hydrogen fuel cells for longer battery life, or whatever you can think of.
Well, I would like to list some key technological challenges that would undoubtedly influence in the future of UAM. As I mentioned before, the aircraft configuration itself is a challenge. I mean, it's VTOL and STOL aircraft are likely to be very common for UAM applications, but we all know that there is a trade-off between rotary wing, fixed wing, and I think it's time, and it's an opportunity to develop new non-conventional and optimize non-conventional configurations in terms of the platform. Secondly, I think hybrid propulsion is also a key technological challenge. As you mentioned, not only hydrogen cells, but also batteries. Why not new materials for batteries with different storage and capacities, etc. Also the approach of how to use the battery. I mean, do we just recharge or swap the battery, etc.? And we have also mentioned 5G communications, but also the artificial intelligence should play an interesting role in terms of all related to situational awareness, to advancing the autonomy of the UAS. And well, I'm sure Antidio, as a technological expert, can also provide more information about what he thinks, or CATEC thinks, are the challenges that will will change the situation.
Thank you, Juanjo. Yes, I totally agree with you that the energy energy source is one of the challenges right now. With the density of the batteries, there is an important challenge to be overcome in order to have aerial vehicles that can fly for hours, not minutes. I think that that's important. And also, I would like to point out this, as Miguel Angel mentioned before, suppose that we are going to have a dense aerial traffic, and in that sense, it has to be automatized. The system has to be digital and automatized. And in relation with that, we think that there are a number of autonomous functionalities related to the aerial vehicle to be aware of the situation every moment and be able to adapt to non-nominal situations. There's not going to be a pilot on board, at least at the end, as Miguel Angel said, at the beginning, maybe there are a pilot just for the first trials, for the first pilots, but at the end, the business case requires to not have a pilot on board. And this will require a number of technologies in order to perceive the environment, especially in complex environments such as the urban airspace with a lot of obstacles. And it's going to be very difficult to have everything pre-planned a priori. There will be, of course, there will be something that is not as expected, maybe not one flight, but over 1 year for sure. And the aerial vehicle should have the tools and the capabilities to be able to detect that and react that in a safe way, along with the rest of the ecosystem, the US space services, and also other infrastructures that could be on the ground. So we think that this autonomy in terms of decision, in terms of safety, that can increase the safety level and be able to allow the aerial vehicle to react safely to non-nominal situations, is also a key technology that we are working at CATEC, and we think is paramount, not only for safety, but also for the business cases that people are thinking about for the UAM.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. In fact, at Airbus, we are actually working with CATEC on this problem, right? So I think, Juan José, actually you listed them pretty much all, no? So, but I see that on one side you have technological problems which are more evolutionary, right? So today, eHang is flying, right? So you have your batteries, you fly. There is a challenge of increase the battery density, improve the configuration, minimize the noise for the perception, and then you can fly for longer, right? So the missions make sense. That's, to me, it's coming, it's evolutionary. However, I completely agree with Antidio. The key to do the, and then you have essentially, initially, electric manned helicopter, right? Which is okay, right? But now the next level is autonomy. And when we say autonomy, we mean, all this complexity. We want this at scale, fleet management, etc. How do you achieve this assured, safe autonomy? How do you exploit artificial intelligence? How do you leverage all what the autonomous cars are doing, are achieving? Is that applicable in aviation as it is? How do you certify that? How do you do what we call this collaborative autonomy? So you can be autonomous, but you need the infrastructure to help in case of contingency, because it has to be safe. So that's, to me, this revolution, right? So when we achieve that, then it opens the field to all these applications we are talking about everywhere safe. So there are all these. Then, of course, there are other evolutionary challenges. So, yeah, how do we manufacture it at a scale, right? So you mentioned that. We need to be cost-effective in manufacturing these safe vehicles. But I think the revolution has to be around autonomy. And you see that in other industry, no? In the car industry and so on. And it's very complex.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. We are running out of time. We have only a couple of minutes, and I would really like to ask you one next question that maybe you can answer very quickly, maybe just one of you, and it is, in your opinion, when can we expect to notice changes in the urban environment, such as vertiports or small UAS hubs? Can you all agree on a time frame from now?
The regulation is not so predictable. That's the
Yeah.
thing. I mean, we are helping the regulators because it's a new business, and we are trying to collaborate and push forward. It's in everybody's benefit. But it's very difficult to predict. I don't know if you have the answer, but I don't have it at the moment.
No, I mean Airbus officially is because we're working on this. You see some early certifications, maybe as soon as 2024, 25 in the US. Actually, probably first, then by us. We've seen that coming, right, with some of the early players. But from the Airbus perspective, we don't see, until the end of this decade, beginning of the next one, we don't see this starting to really take off, right? So yes, we are going to see in the Paris Olympics, maybe already, in the US and some Asian cities, second half of this decade, we'll see some operations for sure. But like you said, this is starting to scale with the infrastructure, some initial unmanned traffic management, probably beginning of next decade. Yeah, that's kind of some of the timeline people are thinking. Yeah.
I want to add,
Okay.
yeah, sorry, I just want to add, eHang, they're in an accelerated process of type certification with the CAAC, the China's Aviation Administration Authority. So we expect to certify in the next months, and I expect people to fly in 100 corridors already that are given by the government, allowed. We are already flying in several corridors with passengers already, commercializing the operations in China. But these are special permits. Now we're working into the type certification, and when it's achieved in several months, 100 corridors will be open, and that's why we are creating the new factory of Yunfu with capacity of 600 air taxis per year, because we expect the demand to grow exponentially very rapidly next year. So I think we will see first air taxis in China, then all over Asia, and then they will be spreading coming back to Europe. So European tourists will first experience the air taxis in Asia than in Europe. That's my opinion. And it's a bit of a pity because I think we can work a bit faster and accelerate a bit the process also here.
Okay, thank you very much. Unfortunately, we have run out of time, and I would like to thank you all for attending this panel, and we're all looking forward to see the fruit of your efforts, really. Thank you very much, and goodbye. Muchas gracias y un fuerte abrazo a todos. Gracias.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Merci. Good job. Buen
Bye.
trabajo.
Gracias.